Welcome to Haunted Horizons GhostCast, where your hosts, Alison Oborn and Cag Allwood, will share their experiences in some of the most terrifying and haunted locations in Australia and overseas. So turn the lights off, relax, and enjoy. So here we are again. We got through episode 1.
We did.
And we actually decided to do episode 2.
Well, I know. We enjoyed it actually, didn't we? We enjoyed doing episode 1. So.
It was fun. I mean, it might not have been fun for you guys, but it was fun for us because we got to reminisce about all the stuff we have to do.
We didn't realise how long ago it was, really.
No,
no.
It's so we're here again. So we're going to do a second one. And I thought for our second one, Keg, we could do another castle.
Cool. You can't beat a castle.
Because we like castles.
We like castles.
And we're actually doing this as a video as well. So eventually, when we get enough episodes up and we can then do subscriptions, you lot who subscribe can watch the video version. But if you just like the audio, then hey, we'll just stick it to audio.
It's a nice choice.
It is. So, all right. So what we're going to talk about today is Margam Castle in England, because I think it's one of the ones that creeped us out.
It's in Wales.
It's in Wales. Okay. So today we'll do that bit again before I upset every Welsh person that is out there.
Yeah.
We will actually, because you'll have to come a bit closer. You're determined not to get close to that mic.
I can't get any closer. I'll be sitting on your knees soon.
That's all right.
Okay.
So before we go to our castle of choice, which is actually Margam Castle, that we're going to talk about today, because I think that was one of our favourites.
Yeah, Margam Castle that is actually in Wales.
It is, not in England, I might have said earlier.
Yeah, so it's in Wales.
And we cut out because we didn't want to upset everybody.
No, we didn't. But it was funny. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It was
pretty creepy.
So, but before we do, general chit chat, because we like general chit chat, and just kind of giving you what's been happening, what's coming up, and what the show's about if you missed episode 1. So generally what this show's going to be about is we're going to look at haunted locations, and some of them are really quite well known.
Oh yeah.
And it's been done before.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have a mixture. We're going to have really well-known ones, and we're going to have those not so well-known, just a nice mixture of things.
Yeah, so you may not have heard of some of these places, and a lot of them will be in SA, really, South Australia.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, it'll be in America, England, other places in Australia. We'll even do New Zealand.
Yes.
But we're going to do it with a difference, because although it's all been looked at before, these are going to be places that Cag and me have actually personally been to and investigated.
Yeah.
So, and because of that, we're going to include audio from the investigation. So if we've got any captures or anything like that, and you can hear what our thoughts are of it. You'll also hear about behind the scenes, our feelings on the place, which you can't put forward when you're just putting up a blog or you'll get the first-hand experiences. So it's all going to be very, very different. So hopefully it'll be something you enjoy. Now, for those who can see the video, this may look a bit weird. We have one microphone, Cag, don't we? To share.
Do.
So we're getting closer than Cag and me actually like to get.
Exactly.
We don't normally get this close to each other. In fact, Cag, we've been best friends for how many years?
A long time.
A long time. And when did we first touch each other?
Oh, that sounds a bit
And not
weird.
in that way. When did we first hug each other?
This year, UK.
In the UK, we did, after all these years. So we don't get close.
No, we don't. And it's weird because I'll hug other people, but I can't hug Alison. Is it okay for me to drink a coffee? We have got close, though, during some investigations. And actually, Margam Castle was one of them where we did get very close indeed.
We do. Sometimes we do get closer than we expect to be, but hey,
Yes.
sometimes the situation actually calls for that.
It does. Yeah.
So, all right. So, just a few little things. That's what the podcast is going to be about. So, hopefully, you enjoy it. It's going to be a mixture of audio and interviews. We'll play some of the interviews with people.
Yeah.
And we're also going to try and get some of the hosts on here that were with us. If we had one, then we're going to try and get them on as a guest to do the podcast. We're going to try and do Charleville with the wonderful Irish Samantha.
Yes.
You're going to love Samantha. So we're hopefully going to do that in December. We've done, this is going to lead us into what's happening this month.
Oh, it's a
manic month because we've got Paranormal Quest coming over from America. If you haven't watched Paranormal Quest, they're big YouTubers, ghost hunting YouTubers up on YouTube, Keg.
Really? Is that where YouTubers go?
Yeah, it is, apparently.
Wow,
we wouldn't know because we're not YouTubers with our channel.
No.
So So they're coming over. We're bringing two of the boys over from Paranormal Quest. So, and we'll do some interviews with them for the podcast because they've done Licking Jail with us.
Yes. And obviously West Virginia.
West Virginia, we've done twice with them. And also the Crescent. We did Crescent with Ryan.
Did.
So
we did. So we can talk to him about that as well.
We'll share that with you and interview them. Amy's Crypt is going to be a big part of it.
Amy,
again,
Jared.
go and look up AP. Go and look up AP and Jared. Sorry, Amy. It's been a long day. Amy and Jared, and we're going to get them on here because obviously we've done investigations like the Skirridin with them, and so we'll get a mixture of views on these places. And
I think it's good because we investigated some of the places together, so that's going to be pretty cool that we
sharing is caring.
Yes. And they are some of the nicest people to share things with.
I can tell if you do watch Amy's Crypt and Paranormal Quest, they are the nicest people and most genuine and the most passionate people you will come across. And this is why Haunted Horizon supports them. This is why we're friends. So, and this is why we're bringing them out, trying to give them an opportunity to come out to Australia and showcase Australia a little bit. So they are lovely people. They really, really are. So they're as genuine as what you see on the videos that you watch with them.
Yeah.
So what else have we got coming up? We got a new podcast, Kag.
Have we?
Yeah.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
a brand new podcast. I think we're into the second episode.
Really?
Yep.
What's this one about?
I think it's called GhostCast or something.
GhostCast.
Yeah.
Oh,
so there's a little bit of an update for you. Apparently it had quite good reviews.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, people actually thought this podcast was listenable to.
Well, that's
that was a
interesting.
surprise.
It was a surprise.
We just did it. We just
prattled on for a bit, didn't we?
Well, we did. The first episode we put up was actually a practice run. It wasn't even supposed to be an episode, but
no, it wasn't. We just went through it to see whether we could do it or not.
Yeah,
and then we thought, it seemed okay. We'll put it up. Yeah,
it'll do.
It was good.
It'll do.
We enjoyed doing it though, so
we did. And what else have we got? So we got the boys coming over. We've got a YouTube channel. Don't forget about the YouTube channel.
No.
Because we're not YouTubers.
We're not YouTubers.
But we do have a channel with lots of interesting video up. I've just put Penhurst up. And we'll do all these down the track.
Yeah.
And, Patreon. We might not be able to have subscribers here yet because we haven't put enough episodes up.
No.
But we do have a Patreon page where you can subscribe and you get lots of... we do live stream investigations for people.
Yep, we do. From our different places, not just our venues, but when we go out and about.
Yeah.
And we'll be going out and about shortly with our guests.
Oh, yeah, we will. I was looking at you going, what guests?
The ones we've just been talking about for half an hour, those ones. Oh, dear. Welcome to my world.
It's like a goldfish, isn't it?
Yeah.
You go, oh, look, a castle.
Yeah.
Oh, look, a castle. What guest? Who?
Oh, dear. Anyway,
enough of the frivolity. These lovely people who are listening are here to listen to haunted places.
well, exactly. But you forgot one thing.
What?
What's the one thing that you also told me about that should be coming out soon? How about the newsletter?
Oh, we've got a newsletter as well. So hopefully the end of this week, we have a newsletter. So get on to that as well with all the news.
Yes. All the news.
All the news will be in the newsletter.
It will be funny, that, isn't it?
I know. Who would have
Do you
thought?
think-
Who would have thought? Who
that
would have thunk?
Who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it? That's what they say back home. Who'd have thunk it?
Who would have thunk?
Who would have thought that they would put news in a newsletter?
It's
mind blowing, isn't it?
Baffling.
My mind
But
is
there
blown.
you go. Enough of the frivolity. All right, Margam Castle. So let's now go from fun to more fun in a paranormal way.
Okay.
So Margam Castle, it sits in Wales, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So Port Talbot is in South Wales. It's about 2 miles. We stayed in Port Talbot, but it's about 2 miles out of Port Talbot.
And it's the most stunning building, isn't it?
What, Port Talbot?
No. Margam Castle.
It is.
Port Talbot's not so.
So look at the photograph, which will be up, of Margam Castle. And it sits nestled in an 850-acre country estate. So it's not really a castle, though, is it?
No, it's not.
Again, it's this fine line of what's called a castle but isn't really a castle.
No, it's not what you expect it to be, with the big wall around it and the turrets and whatever else.
Yeah.
But it's again, it's a fortified house, which they tend to have a lot of in Scotland.
Yeah. It's of the Victorian era, so you can't really call it a castle.
No, you can't. Not when it's built so late. But they did like to call it a castle.
Yeah, a lot of these fortified homes have the castle term. It was built in 1830, so around about anywhere between 1830 and 1840. So it's definitely not of castle era, and built by Christopher Rice Mansell Talbot. And it was commissioned after he returned from a grand tour to Europe.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Isn't it funny that the Talbot actually built a place near Port Talbot? Is that just a coincidence, do you think?
You know, I hadn't. Yes. Port Talbot.
I'm only joking. It's all good.
Well, no, actually makes sense, doesn't it?
Just. Oh dear.
But
Sorry,
he had fallen in love with all this Gothic architecture over in Europe, and when he returned to Wales, he decided that's what he wanted his family home to look like.
And it must have been stunning back in the day. If the outside, or if the inside looked anything like the outside, it would have been absolutely stunning.
Yeah. All right. So before he built this big Gothic building, the place already had a Tudor building on it. So, and he decided that was too small. So,
yeah,
he wanted something. He wanted something grand.
Well, if you're going to go on the grand tour of Europe, you want a grand place to come back to.
Don't you?
And
you do, and he certainly did that. So, the Talbot family owned this place right up until 1942, and then it was sold to Sir David Evans Bevan.
Okay.
Say that 3 times.
Evans Bevan. That's a difficult one.
Sir David Evans Bevan. Sir David Evans Bevan.
That's not
David Evans Bevan.
Yeah, that's not an easy one to say, especially if you've had a drink or two.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sir Evans Bevan soon felt that the building was far too large, which it was huge.
Well, don't you think he'd worked that out when he bought it?
You would have thought he'd look at this.
Would you go and go,
this
do you know
massive
what?
castle and gone, wow, that is massive.
Do you think he only thought that it consisted of one wing?
I
and never thought to have a look at the other wing?
don't know. It's just like
How could you suddenly realise, do you know what? This is far too big.
And decided it was too big for his needs. So, but he couldn't find anybody at the time who would take it on.
Well, there would be.
I could say I would.
So would I.
It's like, can we take it?
Yeah.
If you don't want it, we would have had it. And so at the time, it just slowly fell into disrepair. Disrepair?
Disrepair. That's similar to disrepair.
With an S in it that shouldn't be there.
Yeah. Okay. So.
That's the English language according to Alison.
Yeah.
And then the county council took it on in 1974. But what happened in 1977?
The worst thing possible that could happen to that building. It actually caught on fire.
It did.
Now, I don't know whether it caught on fire or whether it was a arson.
Yeah. Well, there would have been a lot of vandals.
Yes.
And a lot of, thrill seekers, and because it wasn't being used. And it caused such extensive damage. And unfortunately, everything that was inside that building, it was left as a
shell.
A shell.
Yeah, that was
bare
it.
walls.
Yeah.
And actually, our security guard that was with us, you remember he said that he used to play around there? And he used to look through he used to look in the windows, and he said it used to be beautiful. They used to have all the furnishings and the carvings and stuff like that, and he remembers looking in the windows, and he said it was gorgeous.
Must have been left with stuff in it.
Oh yeah, it had stuff in it. So,
no wonder people.
Yeah, he said there was paintings and all sorts.
Really?
Yeah,
far out.
So, they have gone back to this they've been restoring it since the fire. So, and even when we were there, you could see they have done a lot of work on it. So,
they have.
You need to just make sure you're in near the microphone because you're still like moving away. I'll take that body language as you don't like me. All right. You know what to say about body language, Jack. All right.
Okay.
So, Margam Castle. We've talked about the Tudor building that stood there.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked about Margam Castle itself, the Gothic style building. But what we haven't mentioned is although Margam Castle is relatively new, the land itself has been used for a lot longer. So, in fact, they say it's been occupied for about 4,000 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
It is. Even I can remember.
Right, exactly. I know.
It's a bit older
There's
than me.
haven't they found evidence of Romans being there as well?
Yeah, but even before the Romans, the Bronze Age people.
Mm.
So
interesting. But I loved one of the things I thought was really cool was the fact they've got an abbey ruin there.
Yeah.
Which I think is really, really cool. It's a lovely building.
Oh, it is, but you jumped ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Just way to go, Cag.
Well, you've done it. It's there.
No, but I was going to get into the burial mound. But now you jumped to the abbey.
Okay. What burial mounds?
Well, the bit that's written there, look. Bronze Age people settled in the area with several burial mounds on the site.
Okay. All right.
Just jump ahead.
Take 3.
Way to go to ruin episode 2, Cag.
Okay, let's go.
Oh, dear. All right, so although Margam Castle is relatively new, guess how old that land, that people have been on that land?
Oh, God, that's difficult.
What era would you put it to?
I would most places in the UK tend to sort of date back to the Roman times, don't they?
Roman? Do you reckon Roman?
Yeah, because most of them go
there
back
would
to
be Roman. All right. Try a bit further down the track.
Oh, really? What's further back than that?
So further back than that is the Bronze Age people.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So 4,000 years ago. It was thought that they found evidence that the Bronze Age people were there. They found burial mounds on the estate.
Boreal.
That's Yorkshire. Boreal.
Boreal. You can tell you've gone back to UK, love,
Yeah,
because
I've
it's
gone back
boreal.
to UK because at the end of the day,
You're another
I'm
day
going to
older.
talk a bit like Jon Snow.
Winter's coming.
Winter's coming.
So, yeah, so the burial mounds. Sorry, I had to pick that one up because it just made me giggle. So the burial mounds, yes.
Have been discovered in the park.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was Roman occupation there. So technically you're right, Kag. It's just
it goes back
a little bit further than that. So now what came next? And we actually saw the ruins. And
I mean, how many buildings have got their own abbey ruins?
I know. We didn't get time to investigate them. We have to go back there.
But we did go down, and they were stunning. It was beautiful. It was great to take pictures, wasn't it? Take photos.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We'll put some of the photos up on the Facebook page. But the ruins are from the 11th century, Margam Abbey. It's all Margam, isn't it?
Margam, yeah.
And of course, like a lot of the other abbeys, when Henry VIII was around, it's like Henry VIII had it in for abbeys and stuff.
Oh, didn't he just?
It was destroyed. So the dissolution of the monasteries, basically, in 1537, and that was the end of the abbey. So, but the ruins are still there, and they still have the church there. In fact, the first Mansell Mansion, which would have been that Tudor one, was actually built out of the stones and on the grounds of that abbey.
Oh, really?
Which is interesting because it makes you wonder with the hauntings whether it's to do with the new building.
Right. Or
whether it could be something to do with the history with an abbey being there. And yeah. There would have been violence as well. This is the whole thing about dissolution of the monasteries is a lot of the monks were killed and slaughtered. In fact, they had to hide a lot of the time when this was going on. So now the ruins do remain in the grounds, and they are worth having a look at. They're just down from the house. So.
Yeah. It was stunning, and we had a great time looking around there. It's a shame we didn't get a chance to investigate, but
next time
the house was so big.
Yeah. So Cag,
what, Alison?
Let's get to the good stuff. I mean, that was good stuff, but
the dark stuff.
Okay. Ghosts and who they could be.
Cool.
So, yeah, we just talked about maybe it's from a different time period. Maybe it's from the Abbey. From what people have been reporting, it's not pointing to that. So, and people are reporting certain personalities that are fairly well known as ghosts there.
Right.
But to get to that, we need to look at a little bit more of the history, because one of the ones there is thought to be Robert Scott, who was 39 years old, and he was the gameskeeper there on the estate.
Yeah, I think I remember. Yeah, I remember hearing the story. Yeah, about him. Yeah, because it was a long time since we went to Margam Castle.
Yeah, when did we go? It would have been 2017, I reckon.
Yeah,
17
possibly,
or 18.
Yeah.
We'll get back to you on that date. So Robert Scott, he was the gamekeeper. And what's a gamekeeper, Cag?
So isn't a gamekeeper that looks after the game? So he's
what,
spot the obvious.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, isn't a gamekeeper that looks after the animals for the Margam Castle? So they'll be the ones that go out. They look out for people that are poaching.
Yeah.
And they'll keep an eye on the wildlife and make sure there's nothing killing the deer or the pheasants or whatever else they've got in on their land. So
yeah,
they're a bit like maybe an old-fashioned zookeeper type thing, but not,
an old-fashioned zookeeper.
Well, they're looking after the animals. They're protecting the animals, making sure nobody's pinching them and they're okay. Maybe not then. Maybe I'm just talking garbage. Anyway, let's just carry on.
That's like a rough thing.
Okay.
So what is a gameskeeper, Cag?
A gameskeeper?
Apart from, don't say it.
Don't say what? They look after the games?
Yeah.
Okay, I won't say that bit then. I'll take that bit out. All right. So a gameskeeper is they actually probably mostly live on the land with the houses, and it was their job to keep an eye on any of the wildlife. So any of the pheasants and the partridges and things like that, and the deer, protect them from poachers. And also when it comes to the shoots, which not everybody's into that sort of thing, but they're the ones that will get the beaters to come and frighten the birds so they can go up into the air and then be shot, unfortunately. But that was the thing back in the day. I think
Well,
it still is in still places,
they
isn't
still
it?
do it. So,
But it's their job to manage the grounds and to make sure that the animals are okay.
and make sure there was no poaching.
That's what I did to mention. That was no
Did you?
poaching. I did.
Okay.
To get rid of, keep an eye out for poachers. So
That's 'cause I
for those who
wasn't
don't know what a
listening.
poacher is, that's people that come in and kill birds or whatever. This their deer.
Yeah. But there's a lot of poor people as well.
There
in
was
those
an
days. So
awful
I
lot.
guess, if you're hungry, you're going to go on somebody's estate and see if you can bag a couple of birds or a deer or something.
Of course you are. Because, I mean, people were starving back in the day as well. So, yeah. So a lot of people, actually, I bet a lot of people were killed poaching. There must have been thousands and thousands of people killed poaching.
Yeah. Over the, not like recently, but.
And not recently, no. But,
No.
well, we don't know.
I don't know. Now, there had been poaching on the property, and Scott had sighted the poacher because the poacher had broken his way onto the grounds. He'd made a little gap in the wall into the grounds, and he was now sighted. So Scott thought he had him. And he went running over to the wall because the poacher obviously tried to get back through that gap. And by the time Scott got to him, Scott hadn't realised that the poacher had a shotgun.
Ooh.
Shotguns are messy. And it was certainly messy when the poacher shot Scott in the face. Now, you would think, Cag, that would finish them off.
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you?
Having a shotgun blast in the face.
Because they do make an awful lot of mess, a shotgun.
Yeah, it didn't.
Oh.
He was still alive. The damage, though, was horrible. They actually said this is one of the worst crimes that they'd come across in their day. It had basically shattered the facial bones and dislocated the jaw.
Oh.
And he did manage to try and struggle away. Unfortunately, he did collapse. And the poacher got his shotgun, because there's always 2 bullets in a shotgun, and shot him again, this time in the shoulder.
That's awful. No.
And then he ran. But Scott was still alive. And unfortunately, in those days, in the 1800s, nobody's really going to know you're missing for a bit. And you can't just get your phone out. Well, you couldn't anywhere with a dislocated jaw.
No.
But unfortunately, and this is a sad thing, he died alone.
That's horrible.
And in pain out there.
Yeah.
And 39 isn't that old.
No, it's not. And for a guy just doing his job.
Yeah.
It's just no one deserves
and
that.
And doing it well. So I just think that's sad.
And
maybe that's why he could still be around.
Yeah.
Poaching had been rife in the estate because there was a lot of game on Margam estate, and many other gamekeepers had been attacked. So
yeah, and the thing is, they've got to do the job because otherwise they could lose theirs. Yeah. So I mean, they've really got to do the job properly, haven't they? Yeah.
I mean, one even got beaten up and tied to a tree. So, but as they said, no attack had been as deadly as this one.
No, that's just nasty.
And the really sad thing is that Scott left his wife behind, and she had a small child. So
that's not good.
And the even sadder thing is his widow was not even allowed to view his body because the damage was that bad. So this is the famous one. This is the one they say is haunting Margam.
Right.
the angry Robert Scott is haunting Margam. So we went in to find out.
Well, we did. I mean, I would have thought really he would be haunting the land as he was killed on the land.
But I mean, if he's angry, he could just be anywhere.
Oh, that's true. We'll let him off with that one. He can be wherever he likes, can't he?
Now, some of the things that have been happening that's been put down to Robert Scott is he has been sighted.
Right. Oh, good.
He's been sighted on the grounds. There you go. In the grounds.
See.
In the grounds. He's also reported on the staircase. That imposing. We know that staircase.
I'm not surprised he's
soon.
Attracted to that staircase because everybody is.
That's creepy enough.
Yeah.
There was something about that staircase. There was. There's frequent poltergeist activity, such as stone throwing. And this type of activity is always put down to Robert Scott. But it's not just the gamekeeper that is supposed to haunt the house, because there's been sounds of children as well.
All right, children. Yeah, well, yeah, come on, because we went up to the nursery, didn't we? So, yeah, children.
So children have been interacted with, and they've been heard running and playing around. So, and the thing is, it's mysterious because there's no record of any children dying there.
But did they do all the records back in those days?
Well, I'm sure they've looked them up.
Yeah, would they have made all the records in those days? You know, sometimes they. Well, it's true. Don't look at me like that. Don't look at me like that. But sometimes, sometimes the records don't always make proper records, do they, on things, especially children.
I'm sure they would have recorded if they had a child that died.
But does it have to
in
be
the family
a child?
line?
Does it have to be a child that actually comes from Margam Castle? Couldn't it have been something before then?
It could have been a cook.
Could have been anybody.
Child of a cook or a servant there.
Or before
there would have been a lot of disease, but apparently in the records that they've looked at, there's no record of a child there. So it could be residual, could be something from out there, could be from 4,000 Bronze Age.
Could be a Bronze Age child running around there.
So, of course, we're saying there's no children there, but as they say, tell that to the real children who wander off and then claim that they have been off playing with their new friend.
And how many times do you hear that?
We do a lot. In fact, we heard that in the Sally, didn't we?
We did.
Sally House will be another episode that we come out with. So.
But but the thing is, they say children are more open to things anyway. But I mean, how cool is that of a child going off with a child ghost? Yeah. That's wouldn't that be creepy?
So there's some of the things that have been happening there. A lot of the famous shows have been there. Most Haunted have been there.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
And I believe, wasn't it Ghost Hunters International went to Margam as well? I think so. I could be wrong. Go look it up for us, guys. But I'm pretty sure Margam was one of those places. Or is it? Yeah, I'm sure it was. So it's getting to be quite well known. So now let's get into when we went to Margam. So now we're going to get into the personal stuff. Okay. So we went to Margam. And I think we were blown away by just the sight of it.
It's stunning. It was absolutely stunning and massive.
And we'd only just it was our second year into doing investigations overseas. So we were still setting ourselves up. We were still kind of getting used to doing that. And it was just, wow. As I said, the photos are going to be up on our Facebook page for the podcast. So in the video, I'll put this video as I'm talking. Well, actually, so you don't have to look at us. I'll put the video of us walking around and you can have a look at some of the castle. It's just amazing.
It so is. And to think you're going to be in there, just the two of you.
That hadn't actually sunk in, I think, at the first part for me, because I was taken in more by the grandeur of it. Because we did see it during the day first.
Oh, we did, and what they're doing to it, and the things that they've found that they've managed to repair is just stunning, isn't it?
So to start with, the wonderful security guard who, like everybody else, when we turn up, looked at us and went, "Where's the others?" Because this is something we have everywhere, Kag, isn't it?
We do. They do. They look behind us and go, where's everybody
And
else?
where's the rest? And where's the rest of your team?
Yeah.
Because it's like
It's just us.
2 middle-aged ladies turn up, and just us. So he was very good. He took us around, and that's when I remember him telling us about having seen it as a child with all the paintings in there.
Yeah.
And then he took us down to the ruins, but he took us around the house, and it was beautiful. The carvings are still there, and stained glass windows, which were
just stunning, weren't they?
Magnificent. So, and then came the famous, and it is a famous staircase because you see it all over. It is the number one most amazing staircase I think I have ever set my eyes on.
I totally agree with you.
The creepiest staircase I've ever set my eyes on. It is very like in a gothic horror movie. It's not wood.
I guess that's the one thing that saved it was the fact it's made from stone.
Yeah, the fact if it had been a wooden staircase, it wouldn't have been there.
No,
it would have gone. But it was made of stone, and it's just magnificent. So, and I think the staircase was the part of the place that really, really creeped me out the most. So,
well, we had an issue going past the bottom of the staircase. We had to go down one side of it to get to the room that we had our base in, the kit in. And we actually said that side of the staircase was really creepy, even though we hadn't told each other to start off with.
No.
But we both realised we were talking about the same area.
Yeah.
But the staircase itself was just
creepy.
Creepy.
So when we were there, after walking around, and it is just empty. There's no decorations on the walls. It is just back to bare wall. It's clean and tidy, but it's just bare stonework everywhere because of the fire.
And I think the floor just recently been finished as well.
Yeah,
upstairs floor.
They finally put the floors back, so they're getting there, and it's coming along. We mainly did our investigation in the nursery.
Yeah,
and that big room in front of it. I don't know what that was called.
Wasn't that the Colonel's room or Talbot's room?
Yeah. So we did that room and we did the staircase, but we started in the Talbot's room, that big room, and it almost started immediately. We were in there because we were setting up, and first of all, the wind
just what you need.
Just what you need at that. The wind got up, and that's what you need when you want a place to become a lot scarier than it already is to have the wind howling like every horror movie. So, and the security didn't come in with us.
No, he didn't.
No. We actually contemplated maybe bringing him in with us.
We did.
Because this is how on edge we might have been.
We might have asked him in later on, but we'll come to that in a bit.
Yes. Yeah. So we'll get onto the line of that. So the security was sitting outside.
In his van.
Yeah.
And it was a cold night.
It was.
He would have been a lot better off with us, I think.
Would have been. And of course, we were setting up in that room, and almost immediately we had a big bang, didn't we?
Yeah.
So it's like, and then we continued to set up, and suddenly it felt like something had brushed past my arm, and I said to Kay, "Can you bring the torch over, because it feels like something's touched me and it feels absolutely frigid." So Kag brought the torch and the camera over. All my hair on the arm was standing upright. So I think we'll play that video.
Oh yeah, good idea.
Okay, something just felt like it brushed my arm and all the hair just went up.
It was me. I can see it.
You can see it?
I can see it. I can't know if you can see it through the camera, but...
Can you go see it? It's going down now. Oh, no, you can see. Yes, I have hairy
yeah.
arms. Can you see how it's going straight up, guys? Is it showing on there?
Yeah. Lots of wows coming up.
All right. I actually thought I had cobwebs brushing across my arm. And then it just all went up. Yes, I have a hairy arm, by the way. So, when you saw that, when I presented my arm to you.
Yeah.
Kag! My arm!
Well, it reminded me of the incident you had happen to you at the Adelaide jail on the staircase in the new building.
Oh, yes. So I had something walk past, and I'll save the story for when we do the Adelaide jail, but I had something walk between two guides, and it felt like a static breeze going past, and all the hair on one side just raised up. So, yeah, that has happened before.
Yeah.
So, but that was kind of the start of the investigation.
Mm-hmm. Then, didn't we start hearing rustling around us?
Yeah, we turned lights out. And at this stage, Keg, I'm just going to say, we were sitting on opposite sides of a table.
Yes, we were.
That's going to be important for later on.
Yeah.
We were big room, big table. I sat on one side, Keg sat on the other.
Okay. Now, we were hearing rustling going around us, and a bit like it was like rustling of material. Like, like the long skirts you used to use back in the day.
Yeah.
It was like that sort of thing, wasn't it? Rustling around. But you could also hear the footsteps.
Yeah.
Little time. But the thing is, our equipment didn't pick up on the footsteps that we were hearing.
No, it wasn't sensitive enough.
No.
And it was circling us. That was the unnerving thing. Now, you got to remember, we were right up that staircase.
We were no, not quite the furthest room. The next one on was the furthest room. We were There
was only one further on.
Yeah, exactly.
It was the little room behind us, which was the nursery.
So there's only one room further on we could go, because it's one of those houses where you had to go through each room to get to the next room. So you had to go round and round. So we were the furthest away from the staircase you could possibly get, almost.
And that goes through your head. You've got to go all the way through and down and down. Yeah. And you're in the building on your own. So when you're sitting there, I don't know about you, but it was very unnerving.
It was so unnerving. When you're sitting there in the dark, you can't put your torch on. You're listening to something walking around.
Circling.
That was the thing. It was
Let's
circling.
get the word right here to set the scene.
Yeah.
It wasn't just
circling.
Walking around. It was circling us.
That was so creepy, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were on edge at that point. So what we might do is just play some audio, because I think listening to us in the moment on how we're feeling is going to be much more expressive. You can get the idea on how we were feeling in the moment. And remember, guys, we were in pitch darkness.
Yes.
In this huge, great place. So we don't know what we're dealing with. An angry gameskeeper for a start.
Well, exactly. Exactly.
So here we go. Let's just play this.
All
right, guys. So we're going to, just to show you how dark it is in here, in reality. Okay, that is how we are seeing this place now. Can you hear that?
I can. I can hear that.
There's a rustling noise in here with us.
Do you know, it's really weird.
What's that? What was that?
I don't know.
If I turn this around and find a little black-eyed child standing in the corner looking at me, I'm going to
poop my pants.
Jackie, we're... Is that you breathing, Heather?
No, it wasn't.
Sorry, Josh, I just swore. So it's really sad. I'm really actually disappointed. It didn't pick up what we were hearing so much. It's just because it was, to us, it was so loud, so unnerving. And then we went on to the spirit box.
We did. We went on to the spirit box or ghost box, whatever you like to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And the first word out wasn't a very pleasant word, was it, Alison?
No, we'll play that one now, shall we?
Yeah.
Because we don't like to say bad words.
No, we don't. So.
So there you go. That was a good start.
It was.
I wouldn't care, but it was a female voice. I mean, she needs to wash her mouth out a little bit.
Exactly. Get that soap, young lady.
I don't think she was talking to us. I'm certainly not one, and neither are you.
No, exactly.
But it's like, but it was an interesting start. I'd only just turned the ghost box on, and then we got into talking about the game. So we thought we'd go down the track of the Gameskeeper, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then what happened next? Maybe I'll play it first.
Okay, you play it first.
Let's see if they get it. If you used to hunt deer, were you doing it legally? Were you allowed to have the whole deer? Yeah. That was a yes, but whether it was radio or not, I'm not sure. Did you have to protect the deer? All right, so I'm going to ask, I thought I'd give you the opportunity of getting it first, seeing if you can hear what we're hearing when we ask those questions. All right, so have a few seconds to think about it, because now I'm going to tell you what we were hearing. I'm actually hearing Cag dying, which is such a pleasant sound. Maybe she'll come back as a ghost and come on the podcast. Are you finished? Cool. How can we get on with it? Time's a ticking, woman.
Okay.
All right. So now you've had a listen to it, I'm going to tell you what we were hearing in the ghost box. So we asked about the Gameskeeper and thought we'd talk to him. And in it, you'll hear us ask about it. Like, did you have to protect the deer? And then you'll hear a male voice go, we had no choice, which is an interesting thing to come out of a radio at that moment. So let's just listen to it again. Did you have to protect the deer? So what did you think of that, Kate, when you were listening to it? Did we catch it at the time? I don't know if we even caught it at the time in our ears. In our ears.
You know, where else would you catch it from?
I could have caught it in my nose. Maybe I can catch it.
Do you know, I honestly can't remember because it was quite a while ago, but it was actually interesting. I mean, you know, it could be a coincidence, but for it to come out with that at the time of asking, if it was a coincidence, it was a pretty cool one.
It was, because it had given an answer before that as well to something else. And it's just, it could have been radio. Look, we are rational.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, because, you know, we might be talking to people who don't know, what is the spirit box, Kag?
A spirit box or a ghost box, depending on what you like to call it, is actually just a broken radio.
It is, which is really embarrassing to use.
Yeah. So somebody's just slipped to wire so it can't stop on one radio station. It goes up and down the radio station, spitting out random words.
Yeah. Which is the argument against it. And I was the same. I was the biggest skeptic out. But because of the tours, we use this day in, day out. And at the end of the day, we've had some interesting responses. Most of them are up on our YouTube channel because we're not YouTubers.
We're not YouTubers.
We're not YouTubers,
We're not
but they
YouTubers.
are up on our YouTube channel.
And I think the thing is with it, you have to use it as much as we do
Yeah.
to actually realise that some of the things
And
you can get out of it.
the other thing I just want to add is we've stopped using two ways in the Adelaide jail because it seems to be able to mimic and put messages over our two ways where one person will get the message and the other people who are on the same channel don't get it, which would say that whatever we're dealing with can... How it does it, we don't know, and I'm not about to say, but it appears to be able to manipulate radio frequencies, which a broken radio with white noise is. So that's your explanation on the ghost box.
Now, you're always cold, aren't you?
Yeah, look at that. It's November in Australia, and if people can't see that, I have my thermals on.
It's got a thermals, a t-shirt, and a jacket.
Yep.
So Alison's always cold anyway, but you were absolutely freezing this night, weren't you?
It was sudden.
Yeah, it just suddenly went cold. I wasn't so bad, but you were absolutely freezing. And it was actually 20 degrees, or that's 68 degrees Fahrenheit
for our lovely overseas people who work in Fahrenheit.
Exactly. But you were freezing to the point where your teeth were chattering.
Oh my God, they were. So let me just play you this video. We're back on us. I am so cold. I cannot even begin to tell you how much I am starting to shiver. Again, the temperature has not moved. It is 20 degrees. I have 20.2 degrees on the EDI. And it's not uncomfortable though. It's not like, when we first came on and sat here. That was uncomfortable. Hello. All right, the EDI has just gone off for the first time tonight. So the temperature just indicated a spike of cold.
Even though the temperature hasn't changed at all.
The temperature hasn't changed on the dial. I am so cold. If that was you playing with the lights, can you do it again, please? And I'm not asking, I hate doing that. I really do hate saying, can you do it again, please? Can you just do it again? If it was me, I'd be going, I've done it. Stop asking. But sometimes we don't know if it was just a natural fluctuation or natural spike, or whether it was actually you causing it to happen. So we're not trying to be... Thank you. All right, so now we have got the EDI. I'm just going to turn you around. So, yeah, I was warm 1 minute and then absolutely freezing the next. But it wasn't just me cold, was it? Because the equipment was doing weird things.
The equipment was just showing strange things as well. It was picking up temperature changes. And
that's the EDI. So,
yeah.
And an EDI for our listeners?
Environmental Detection Instrument.
Say that 3 times.
Exactly.
Environmental Detection Instrument. Environmental Detection Instrument. Go on.
No, I'm not going to do it because I know I'll get it wrong. So it picks up on changes of temperature and environmental changes as well. Yeah. So that was picking up on change of temperature.
So it was...
And it hadn't gone off before, and it didn't go off afterwards.
No. In fact, I don't think we had any other equipment go off all night.
No.
It was just, at the time that I was freezing, absolutely frigid, the air pressure and the temperature were flashing away like crazy. So, again... it was just a big environmental change that to make my teeth chatter while I'm doing it was just, it had to be cold. But while we were discussing this, we had this other thing happen. Is it a little too high for you? And try and bring it lower. If you want us to bring it lower, can you light the lights up? All right. Did you hear that, guys?
What the frig was that?
Didn't they say stones get thrown?
Sounded like a stone.
It sounded like a stone being thrown in the room right behind us here. My heart is just, and the equipment's going off. So it was quite a noise, wasn't it?
Well, we did make this jump. Now, at this point, how far away were we? How far away
Remember
were we?
where I said we were position guys? Well, Kag, I can't help it if you want to be that close to me. Whose side did you come across? Who moved? Who moved?
It wasn't me.
It was. I was always on that side. I can prove that with the video.
Oh, I'd love
I
to see.
can prove that when you
I'm
look at the
gonna
video.
look at the video.
When you look at the video, go look at the episode on YouTube.
Yeah.
And you tell me
It's not
where.
normally that way around. Just saying.
So Kag was on the other side of the table, and by the time I was chattering with my teeth, it would appear that Kag had moved.
There would have been a reason I'd moved.
Oh, yeah. That was probably because something was circling us.
But so we ended up.
It's a good enough reason.
It is. We ended up so close together. We're actually probably closer than we even are now.
Yeah, we're quite close.
We are.
Doesn't look it in the video, but
we are close now, and we were
touching.
We are touching, and we were actually touching even more.
Yeah.
On that
See,
night.
if Amazon had done its job and delivered my second microphone yesterday, we wouldn't have to be touching.
No,
but
we
there you go.
wouldn't.
Come on, Amazon.
Yes, do your job. You've got
Supposed
one
to be
job.
delivering it today, and it's still not here.
Yeah.
So now you're over with me.
Right. Right. No, we are now together.
We are
Don't
now
even go
together.
there. All right. Yeah,
we
we're
are
now
now
together. Yeah.
All right. There was this noise, and how did you interpret that noise? What did you think it sounded like?
To me, it sounded like a stone being thrown with force. A lot of force behind it.
And that was in the nursery behind us.
Yes.
So in the little doorway is a little room that used to be the nursery.
It was thrown with force. It was a really loud noise. And that was a bit freaky as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. But we did, bless us, doesn't matter how tense it gets, we hold our ground.
We went to check.
Stay, and we went to check.
Yeah.
And we did find a little, well, it wasn't actually little because you threw it to see what it sounded like.
Mm. Because, I mean, it is an old building and it's been renovated. So, I mean, but it wasn't a case of something dropping, because we've been in lots of old buildings and sometimes plastering stones do drop from the ceiling. This didn't drop. This was thrown with force.
It sounded louder in real time than you're hearing on the audio here.
Yeah.
We were in the room. And they did say that's the one thing that's in those notes that they had on the table. And that is that stone throwing is very much associated with Robert Scott.
Yeah.
So now I also had at one point tapping on the table. Do you remember that? Oh, no, that was at Jebra.
Oh my God. Fucking hell.
Is that a castle? Is that a castle? Don't choke.
I'm almost dead. All right,
Kag's dying. She's just
so
choked
good.
on the water.
Yeah.
So, wrong place. That's the next episode.
They all blend into one after a while.
They do. That's a problem, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You've got to recap and then try and remember what you just recapped. So it's like, but now we moved on to the staircase.
We did. We decided to go down the stairs and set our equipment up on the staircase.
Now, can I just comment on what you were, and it was you saying it, I'm afraid.
Was it?
Yeah. Well, I'm not afraid. It's actually quite amusing. So you had a new mantra as we were walking through the top rooms and going to the staircase. Kag had this little mantra that she was saying over and over again. All right. So I'm going to play that one for you.
Oh, God. Just keep your head down. Head down, head down.
Ooh, that's a cold spot.
That's freezing there. And just head down. Just keep Just don't look. Just keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
So, Keg.
Yes. We just don't. You just don't look around.
Well, you don't when you're on edge.
No, you don't. You don't. Head down.
Head down.
Head down.
Head down. Don't look.
Yeah. Just go. Just put your head down. Go to the stairs, and then if everything's there, it's all good.
Because at the end of the day, what you can't see isn't going to scare you.
Exactly.
It's like the window. You don't look at the window because you don't want to see what's looking back at you. So now at this point, we felt sorry, didn't we, for the guard sitting outside.
No, we didn't. Well, we did and we didn't. What we thought was, we have to tell the truth. We thought maybe
we don't have to. We could just
we could lie.
We could make ourselves look braver than what we actually were at the time.
But we won't. We'll tell you the truth. Is the fact we asked him to come in and investigate with us, just because we thought it was nice, as a nice thing to do, and the fact it was really scary.
We were doing the staircase, and the staircase was just terrifying. Do you want to come? Oh, look, we're just having a break. Would you like a coffee with us? Why don't you join us for the next bit?
That would be nice.
You've never done this before because nobody's invited you. So
yeah,
we're inviting you to come.
That was nice. I think it was very nice of us to invite him.
it was very charitable of us.
Mm-hmm.
So he came along. He was actually he was a really nice guy.
He was.
Absolutely lovely guy. So, and his Welsh accent.
I know.
It was worth having him there just for the Welsh accent. He was lovely. And almost immediately at the foot of the staircase, there was bangs upstairs.
And it's weird because when we're upstairs,
there wasn't
anything at all.
No.
But downstairs and asking for something to happen, we were having bangs and all sorts going off up there, which is really, really weird.
Yeah. So and it almost sounded like doors banging, but there wasn't really many doors up there because the doors have mainly gone.
Oh, there's nothing really.
Because you're walking through stone, and like if you go and look at the video, you'll see stone entry, like doorways with no doors in them.
Yeah.
So there wasn't anything to bang. But I think the creepiest one, was this sound that we caught. Can you come down, please? Now.
That is creepy.
Now.
Yeah.
The guard had no answer for it. There's no idea. So I don't know what that was. But it was almost, I don't know how I'd describe it, like a moan.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know.
It's like
yeah.
That's a good impersonation.
It was very good. I don't know what it was, but it was weird, and it just added to the creepiness of the place as well.
Then just after that, there was another sound of a loud stone, if I remember rightly, a loud stone being thrown at the same time. So
right.
So that's pretty much Margam. We didn't get much else. It seemed to quieten down after that.
I think we went through enough, though.
I think we need to get back because you got to remember we did this a long time ago.
Yeah.
This is, as I said, probably 2017, I think, that we did this. And we were in our beginning days. We were just filming. We were focusing on live streaming more than anything. We were filming on a rubbishy phone in its day. They've come a long way since then. We didn't have the setup we have now. Our video recording was terrible, Cag.
Maybe.
Normally, Cag gets a foot,
yeah,
a boob shot, a crotch shot, or a wall.
Well, I just think sometimes it's nice just to have something different. Why would you focus on the person that's investigating with you, or The equipment. I just think it's nice to have something a little bit different to look at.
So we've improved a little bit since then, hopefully. So we do want to get back to Margam and do it properly. And
I love Wales anyway. So.
Wales is just stunning. So hopefully we'll get back soon. And just to finish it off, there's a little bit of a catch. This was 2017.
Yeah. So it was a while ago.
Yeah. And of course, we've occasionally joined up with Amy from Amy's Crypt.
Yep.
And she's just come back from England.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually went to visit Margam Castle.
Yep, she did.
And what did she say?
He actually remembers us.
Yeah.
He actually said about the two ladies from Australia.
He still remembers us today. And I think that's great. How many people would he have had through? And we've made that impression.
He actually
So
remembered.
I don't know whether it's for the right reasons.
Oh, no, I know. But he actually remembered where you lived.
Yes. He actually remembered the suburb.
Yes.
That I live in Australia.
How cool is that?
After all these years, that is so cool.
But I think what it was though, we did include him, and he's never investigated before because nobody lets him normally, and he was a really nice guy, and it's like, well, why not?
Yeah, and I think it's how you forge friendships and along the way when you're overseas. So.
Yeah, so he was a really cool guy. So great place.
Yeah, absolutely. So would you say it was haunted?
Oh yeah, for sure. Far out. Yes.
Yes.
I think
it was one of our edgiest places in England.
Yeah.
I think it was. I think once we had that sound circling us, that was kind of getting on the edge then.
Yeah, because I think the thing is as well, it's when it's walking around you, you don't really know you're not quite sure where it is. You've got a bit of an idea with the sound, but if you want to, you just
when it takes your sight away, you can't see it, but you know it's there.
Yeah.
All right, so that's Margam Castle for you. Before we go, again, just kind of support us. Go and like this if you enjoyed it. Make sure that I don't know what you do. What do you do on Spotify and you follow. That's the word.
It, follow.
So much social media, guys. It does your head in. So follow on here, and so you get the updates when it comes out. When we get subscriptions going, please subscribe. You will get a video version of all of this. If you want to subscribe on Patreon, you are also going to get that video version before we get them up on Spotify.
Yeah.
So it's only, I think it's $7 Australian a month, 5 American. So, and then it goes up tiers for whatever you get to see. So definitely subscribe there. Go and support us on our YouTube channel. So
but we're not YouTubers.
We're not YouTubers, guys. All right.
But follow our YouTube channel.
Don't expect us to be YouTubers, but we do have a lot of content up there. It's not brilliant content, but it's content. You'll find Margam Castle up there.
You'll find Margam Castle.
Will.
You can watch the whole thing.
Yeah. If you can sit through it, my editing and your filming. But there you go. It does get better as the years go on. So definitely go and support us there. Go and like us on Facebook. We have Instagram. We have a website for Haunted Horizons. It's all kind of molding together. And we have a Facebook page for the podcast. What else have we got? We seem to have.
We have a lot. And
so
if you
much.
come in, if you ever decide to come over, for those that don't live local or come over to Adelaide, South Australia,
and jump onto one of our tours.
Jump on one of our tours and come and say hi.
Probably either Keg or me taking it. So you get to hang out with us.
You do.
Run.
Be afraid.
Be afraid.
Be very afraid.
All right. Keep your spook on. And we are going to see you in our next episode. Jedburgh Jail. No? Jedburgh Castle Jail in our next one.
Yes.
We'll catch you then.
Cool place.
Bye.
Bye.